Welcome to the Jump Ball Power Rankings. We're at week 5, and we got some big changes. We got a new team in the top 5. So let's get started. At number 30 is the Detroit Pistons. And look, they're on the longest losing streak in the NBA as of right now. And simply, they're a bad team. That's why they're 30. There's not even much to talk about. At number 29 are the San Antonio Spurs. And despite having Victor Wembanyama, they have the worst point differential in the NBA at negative 12.9. Nothing else to really say. At number 28 are the Memphis Grizzlies. Obviously have a ton of guys injured. Obviously, Ja Morant's still out. They've dug themselves a big hole I don't think they can get themselves out of. But this was the highlight of their week. That's it. We're moving on from there. We're going to jump to number 27, the Washington Wizards. And again, just another awful team. And even though they beat the Detroit Pistons yesterday, just a collision of two terrible teams, we still got Jordan Poole doing Jordan Poole things. At 26 are the Chicago Bulls. They're in the midst of a 4-game losing streak. And let's just be honest, it's a complete dumpster fire. We're only waiting for them to trade guys, and that's probably not going to start till December 15th. But I'll just say this. DeMar DeRozan complaining about the point differential mattering in the in-season tournament was laughable. This team just needs to worry about trying to get some wins. At number 25 are the Portland Trail Blazers, and they're coming off a nice win against the Indiana Pacers the other night, holding them to 110 points. In fact, their defense this past week was in the top 10 of defensive rating in the NBA. They finished at 9th. That's a climb for them. Right now, just for the whole season, they're at 15th. So if they can kind of continue to improve on that end, there might be a chance for them to climb just a little bit higher in the rankings. Coming in at 24 are the Los Angeles Clippers. And look, they finished the week with a loss against the Denver Nuggets, which, okay, that's wait, let's check the notes. No Jokic, no Jamal Murray, no Aaron Gordon. Reggie Jackson and DeAndre Jordan completely destroyed the Clippers. To be honest, 24 is probably pretty generous. I just can't drop them low enough because of that loss. At 23 are the Charlotte Hornets, and they took a big blow with LaMelo Ball spraining his ankle. He's expected to miss a good amount of time, and without him, I just don't think they have a chance to really win some games. I think they're going to be dropping even more in the rankings in the future weeks. At number 22 are the Utah Jazz. They're coming over a nice back-to-back win against the New Orleans Pelicans, all at home, because they're awful at the road. They're 1-7 on the road, and that's a massive problem for them. At 21, we have the Brooklyn Nets. And I'm going to be honest with you, even with all the injuries they have, they need to be playing faster. They're a team that's below 100 in pace. But with the guys that they have that are long, lanky, and can run the court, they got to play faster. The idea for them should be more up-tempo, more speed, play quicker. Coming in at number 20 are the Toronto Raptors, and they're the epitome of mediocrity. They're just kind of rolling through the motions. We're not really sure what this team is going to be going forward in the future. A lot of question marks to figure out, but they're still putting together enough to win games. They're breaking even for the most part, and let's see how they roll the rest of the season. Coming in at number 19 are the Golden State Warriors, and we're not going to talk about the Chris Paul, Scott Foster gate. We're not going to talk about Draymond Green coming back from his suspension, but we're going to focus on where's Andrew Wiggins been. They need him to step up. They need his rebounding. They need him to be an important piece for that team to make this thing work. If they don't have him, they're going to be dead in the water. Coming in at number 18 are the Atlanta Hawks. And we've talked about for a while how good their offense has been with Trae Young struggling. Well, he's not really struggling anymore. The past week, he averaged about 32 points, shot 48% from three, and he's rolling. They were able to explode and score 147 points against Brooklyn. Again, still working out the kinks of, winning games, but it is a promising start to now see Young beginning to hit shots again. Coming in at 17 are the Cleveland Cavaliers. And look, despite having a winning record, they have a negative net rating, and that's something they got to improve. But one bright spot has been Max Strus. He's been absolutely phenomenal for them this season, proving he was a great offseason pickup for them, and he's filling the holes that they need. Now they just need to put together some wins. Coming in at number 16 are the New Orleans Pelicans. And they had a 1-2 week, but shockingly, they lost 2 games against Utah in Utah. Not a good sign right there. The first one was without Zion, but when they got Zion back, they still didn't really pull out that win. They lost a close one there. But more importantly, the cavalry is coming because it sounds like CJ McCollum is warming up to a return. And once they get him back, we'll get a fully healthy Pelicans team that I think has a chance to really climb in the rankings. At number 15, we have the Houston Rockets, and they had an awesome week because they didn't play a lot of games. But one of those wins that they pulled off this week was against the Denver Nuggets, who had just about everybody except for Jamal Murray. And more importantly, they've moved into the top slot in defensive rating so far this season. That's impressive for a team that was god-awful last year. At number 14 are the Indiana Pacers, the high-octane offense of the Pacers. Look, they played 4 games last week. The first 3 games, they averaged 141 points. They went completely ballistic. But their last game that they lost against the Portland Trail Blazers, they were only able to score 110 points. And although the Blazers have gotten a little better defensively, that's not enough for them to slow them down. They should have been better on that game. That's a big loss for them. Coming in at number 13 are the New York Knicks. Look, they had a hell of a comeback win over the weekend against the Miami Heat and almost pulled it off against the Phoenix Suns. But the truth about the Knicks is sometimes they play good offense and sometimes they play bad offense. If they can find a way to just consistently stay in that good offensive rhythm, they're going to be just fine. Coming in at number 12 are the Los Angeles Lakers. And they had a nice win against Cleveland over the weekend, but they got completely thumped by the Philadelphia 76ers. I mean, they were outclassed by every measurement. And more impressively, this was the worst loss in LeBron James's career. He was really frustrated after the game, and you got to hope that something's going to change for this team because there's just something not right with them. At number 11 are the Sacramento Kings. And they had a light week, just a 2-game week, but man, they got a big win against the Minnesota Timberwolves behind De'Aaron Fox, dropping 36 points and 12 assists. He's looking fully comfortable being back after an early injury, and this is a team I do expect to rise in the rankings. And number 10 are the Miami Heat. And look, they're just kind of rolling along. They got a whole ton of injuries, including Jimmy Butler, who's going to be out a few games, it seems like. And they need to find a way to cobble this thing together. I trust Spo to do it, but the problem is the talent disparity is going to be such a major drop-off for them. I expect them to drop some games and fall in the rankings. At number 9, we have the Dallas Mavericks. I warned you last week that this team was trending downward. I looked at the numbers. Over their past 5 games, they're shooting 33% from 3. But even more shocking, they're shooting less than 70% from the free throw line. If that stuff continues, they're going to be out of the top 10 by next week. At number 8, we have the Milwaukee Bucks. And look, their offensive rating isn't bad, but I just expected so much more when they got Damian Lillard. I thought him and Giannis would click right away. I thought we'd see a whole lot of numbers offensively that would have been outstanding. Except it just hasn't quite clicked in yet. I'm hoping it'll happen soon, but it looks like Dame has more chemistry with Brook Lopez in the pick and roll than he does with Giannis. Coming in at number 7 are the Denver Nuggets. And let's be honest, they've taken their foot off the gas after that strong showing to start the season. And even though they got that monster win over the Clippers with most of their guys out, they are still dropping some games they shouldn't. Got blown out by Houston when they had the majority of their roster. The good news for them, Jamal Murray does sound like he's coming back any day now. At number 6, we have the Orlando Magic, and they are just knocking on the door of the top 5. They're on a 7-game win streak with wins over the Boston Celtics and the Denver Nuggets. On top of that, Franz Wagner and Paolo Banchero are both averaging over 20 points during this win streak. Just imagine what would happen if they ever get a proper point guard. At number 5, we have the Oklahoma City Thunder. They're already second in the Western Conference. They're already third in net rating. They're simply rolling. They're doing it on both ends of the court, and Chet Holmgren is beginning to make a run for Rookie of the Year to start the season. At number 4, we have the Phoenix Suns, and they made a massive rise after finishing 14th in the rankings last week. On top of everything, they haven't lost a game since they've gotten Devin Booker back. They're on a 7-game win streak, including this monster game winner against the Knicks. And number 3, we have the Philadelphia 76ers. They're coming off a nice couple of wins against the Oklahoma City Thunder and absolutely destroyed the Los Angeles Lakers. And, I mean, they just continue to keep rolling. At number 2, the Boston Celtics are holding steady. Look, they had a big win against the Milwaukee Bucks just before Thanksgiving, then followed that up with a letdown loss against the Orlando Magic. If they wanted to take the number 1 rankings, they had to win that game. They had to finish the week 3-0. They didn't do it, and unfortunately for them, they're just going to stay solid at 2. At number 1 is the Minnesota Timberwolves for the 2nd week in a row. Really, they haven't been absolutely amazing, but nobody's done enough to knock them off just yet. And it'll be interesting to see if they're able to hold on to this number one spot with Jaden McDaniels going to be out for the next few weeks with a sprained ankle. And that's it for this week's Jump Ball Power Rankings. Debate in the comments. Who's too high? Who's too low? What did I get wrong? I probably personally don't think I got anything wrong, but by all means, feel free to debate and stay tuned for next week's.